versus dog investigations are different. Dog versus human investigations. I mean, it's that compartmentalized now. So, having all that in mind, the city of Tenino does not have the resources to investigate something like a dog bite. My folks are not trained in even how to begin the investigation on that. Quarantines, certificate of quarantines, what do you do with the dog? Those types of questions come up, and we just don't have what it takes to get those done. So the costs, they're offering a 3-month trial period at these costs that are listed here. And I don't know, is this part of your packet? Is it? Okay. So, you know, an animal cruelty investigation minimum is $500. And so when you think about a cruelty situation, that could be anything from an animal that's not being taken care of, fed, you know, left out in the weather elements, that kind of thing, to an actual, you know, beating of the animal and that type of thing. So it's pretty comprehensive on what they do, and my recommendation is that you as council really consider allowing us to make these arrangements with animal services moving forward. And
do you have a representative you're in contact with that could come down for a work session and maybe do a little spiel to council on what they do and why they're important?
I can check on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can do that.
Start there, maybe.
The problem that they have is a problem that we all have, right? It's a manpower thing. So they go to Yelm, they go to Tumwater, they go to Lacey, they do Thurston County, but they will not come out here to Tenino. And so just the other night.
Do those jurisdictions have separate contracts with them?
Yes.
Okay, then they won't come out to Tenino because we don't have a contract.
That's correct. Yeah, and so, you know, the other night I get called out because there's a dog running loose. Well, even if I caught the dog, what do I do with it? Yeah. And so it's difficult. I feel bad as your chief because I can't provide that service. I just don't have the resources to do it. And believe it or not, dogs and cats are an issue here in our small city. There's several times you could see it on social media where people are missing their dogs.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a big deal.
You know, that's
Yeah.
one of the good things about social media.
Yeah.
And people share them, I share them.
That's true.
If there's, you know.
We have been pretty good about finding the owners.
Right.
But again, you know, holding on to the animal until you can get the owner there, that's tough.
Years past, the city has had a kind of a quasi, Dave kind of took care of it, and there was kind of a quasi kennel that the city had up at the water tower that we're not really comfortable in using or even calling a kennel. So we want to move past where we've been in the past.
Well, if somebody could come down and give us a little presentation on what it entails and what it would cost for us to have a contract with them.
Sure, and right now, they would be proposing kind of what we have listed here by incident instead of like a year-long contract, because we don't even know, or do we have the information or data to give them to show what our problem is here.
Yeah, I would venture to guess it would be very little that we would be using them.
That's
so
correct.
If it's an a la carte type thing, that's appealing.
Yeah, and that's what they're offering. So, but I'll see if I can get somebody down here. The other thing I wanted to let you know is one of the goals that I had when I came here was to update equipment. And so I'm happy to say that we finally budgeted in our budget this year that we're going to get our new patrol rifles So our firearms program is meets all standards and qualifications per the state, and we're I'll put us up against anybody here in Thurston County when it comes to equipment now.
Yeah, we
So,
replaced all our handguns.
All of our handguns are replaced, brand new, and now the patrol rifles will be brand new, and we're done. And
It's good price on those too.
yep,
Yeah.
and I'm happy. Your chief is
Patrol
happy that
bazookas
we got
next
to
year.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next year's the helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always wanted to be a pilot, but that's not gonna happen. Other than that, it's business as usual with us. We've had a couple of, mundane type things. Obviously, we're still working the Heddens burglary. We're still trying to work with our partners in Tacoma now, has had some activity.
Several like crimes up and down the I-5 corridor
Yeah.
with people doing a similar thing, busting into pharmacies late at night.
Yeah, and
We don't think it's a local job.
and it's really amazing that they know where to get the drug that they're looking for. You almost want to say, okay, who's doing the
They were in and out.
who's doing the inside
Actually,
job?
it was like under a minute, they were in there and out.
Under a minute.
Yeah, one of our former officers was driving, Seth,
Yelm.
Davis, right, Officer Davis?
Yeah, Davis.
Yeah, he used to work here, he's driving through from Yelm.
On his way
And
home.
the burglar alarm went off and he was in here in like a minute and a half, and those people were gone.
He heard
With exactly what they wanted.
He heard the alarm, went right to it, and they were already in and out by the time he got there. It's amazing. So,
Well,
So-
each one of these places must keep it in a similar area
Something.
or a
Something.
similar looking
yeah, because the
lockbox.
the drug of choice is Xanax.
Yeah.
Xanax.
Xanax.
Yeah, and the other is anything with codeine in it.
Yeah.
Is what they're going after. So it'll be interesting to see how far we get with that.
Pretty big money for that.
Our partnership with Crime Stoppers, they're gonna have something on that. We're working with Centralia right now to get something put together on that, Crime of the Week or something like that, so we can get it out there. But still working that pretty heavy. Other than that, questions for your old chief here oh, I gotta tell you about this.
Oh,
Good question.
In April, you heard it here first, in April, the first annual Chiefs Sock Hop
Oh, where's that gonna
will be occurring at the Tenino High School in the Commons. We will have the Counter-Rats Car Club there with their old cars out in front for photo opportunities, of course. There will be a live either band or DJ, trying to work through that. And
I'll DJ Ray Ray.
yeah, and we're gonna be looking for the leather jackets, the poodle skirts, the saddle shoes, and all that fun stuff in April.
And you don't know what day yet, though.
Yeah, we're not sure. What's that?
Can't be on the 25th of April.
No, yeah, you don't want that.
No, we'll figure it out. It may even be on a weeknight because I want to take care of my seniors and make sure that they don't have to be out all
Oh,
night.
that's cute.
So, okay, now I'm done. All right.
Alright, thanks, Chief.
Okay, thanks.
Troy has provided a report. During the month of December, the plant continues to perform optimally except for the effluent nitrogen levels that are above permit levels. The supernatants from the biosolids lagoon that is full gets decanted into the reserve lagoon and then returned into the plant is high in nitrogen and has triggered effluent violations. I'm working with Tribeca Transport LLC, CHE, to come up with a plan and price for dewatering and hauling cake. We met out there with Tribeca about a week ago, and I look forward to bringing some more information forward. Hoping to get costs and info and report from Tribeca for next month's council meeting. I'm working with 2019 water report, hope to have that to council in February. Master meter's in the process of getting the FCC license application for the new 3G Allegro meters. Sorry I'm not here tonight, I will be on the 28th. That is Troy's report. That brings us to the esteemed city building official.
Good evening, CityCouncil. Mayor. All right, today we kicked off the first 2 new foundations on your subdivision out there across Scatter Creek. I've got 7 plans in for the model plans. I'm gonna get those reviewed by the weekend, and that's gonna be ready to go. He can build 4 at this time for model homes. Then he's gotta get final plat before he can build the rest of it, unless the city decides that they'll let him bond to final plat and let him keep going as however you guys want to do that. That's administrative and whatever you want to do there. Second thing, I've been contacted by Pacific Energy, and they're looking at putting a propane disposition center here in town.
Distribution.
They've talked to Dan Penrose about it. They've sent him pictures of some of their other centers that they have located in Western Washington. Right now they're operating across from the airport.
Pacific Coast
Oh,
Energy.
I know where it is too, yeah.
So they're wanting to put, and they don't have tanks for disposition there. They gotta truck it from somewhere else. So they wanna get set up here. So we just have to wait and see. When he talked to me, he sounded real interested to go, but he's gotta negotiate the price on the ground and stuff like that, so that's.
This is a manned station that has employees and.
That employees
How
has
many
30,000
units?
gallons of propane sitting on site.
Yeah,
Should have 3 10,000 gallon tanks. And Dan says he's seen all the pictures of their 2 new ones that they have up and running. He says they're really good looking facilities, and he says, all I need to do is check it for fire access and that kind of stuff with the fire code. Shouldn't be a problem. The other thing is I made contact with Jim, the gentleman that owns the 2 houses over on Lincoln Street that the city was in litigation with, and he works in the summers in Idaho as an inspector over there for some public works projects.
Ironic, isn't it?
Amazing.
But anyhow, I told him what the real nice gentleman. Sat down with him in his house, we discussed it at length, and he's kept me in the line. At this time, what he wanted to do, he wanted to fix them up and use them for rental properties for income when he retired. Well, the one house is in such bad shape that he's got some bids and stuff, and it's gonna be cheaper just to demolish.
yeah.
So he's working at trying to get funds so he can build the one house, demolish the other one. So, he said this year he might have to go back to work over there for the summer. If not, he would get working on it this summer. And I asked him to board them up and fix the doors so nobody could get in, fix that one post that was dilapidated on the front porch. So we could get that put to rest and find out what he was gonna do there. So it looks like we're gonna get him to do something there.
Thank you.
And the marijuana processing plant has been finalized. They have their permanent CFO. That file has been finalized and closed down, and everything's good there. We were waiting on their landscaping, and they finally got that done, and they had one patch they had to fix out the road, and they got that taken care of. Working on some single-family residents off of Center Street. Gentleman that owns those has come in, expressed his interest to develop them. We're looking into it now, and if they are what they are, they look like they're original city lots that had never been combined, and so all he has to do is, the water's already through there, got a extend the sewer up to there, pave the road and sidewalk on one side. You'll be able to develop those.
This is Central, on Central.
Yeah, on the far end of Central where it comes out into the church there. One thing we are gonna do though, we're gonna ask for a street light where that, arterial, or that collector comes out to the main arterial, because we're gonna have a stop sign there, and we need a street light over that, so we don't, it's lit up there so you can see what's going on when you roll up there. So that's one of the improvements you're gonna have to do on 507. But, other than that, been working on a few code, cases, and they're getting resolved, and we're just
Plugging away.
plugging away, one foot in front of the other.
Okay. Any questions for Ben?
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Spoke with the city attorney earlier, city clerk treasurer.
Ladies and gentlemen, new budget's in place. It's, money's flowing in, money's flowing out. It's kind of meaningless to look at projections right now because just December January puts everything out of whack. We pay so many bills up front, it just, you know, skews the percentages. On our grants, we submitted for reimbursement for the work that we have currently done on the sewer water line extension to the ag park. And so that was reimbursed before we closed last year out, so that was a very good thing. Same thing with the quarry pool renovation project. We were reimbursed for the engineering work we've done on that, so that project is also progressing. I spoke with the Department of Commerce. I don't understand the reason for the delay, but for some reason, our contract between the city and the Department of Commerce for the renovation of this building is just moving very slowly. They got it, they're working on it, they'll get it back to us.
Kind of like the museum.
Well,
It's everything over there.
commerce is commerce, you know, it's the holidays and all that. Thanks for setting the date, April 25th for the strategic visioning workshop. Thanks for authorizing the mayor to get that done. Doug will be in contact with us and we'll get that working. Like Ben said, they're starting work on Hidden Meadows, so I mean that's really good news for us because the basis for some of our budget projections were key to that, so I'm really happy to see that started. And other than that, you know the other travails that we're having, we're working through those. I've been talking to the mayor, we have a plan, so we'll get well as soon as we can.
Thank you. Any questions for clerk treasurer? My report, you know what we've been dealing with, and we've already discussed that. Other than that, we received word from Commissioner Hutchings today that they voted on the historic grants. So we were awarded $10,000 for the caboose renovation. So we got word on that today, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Be that, you heard from them earlier. CIP, unless you have something, Jason.
No, the next meeting is on the 28th.
Okay.
Just real quick on CIP, we will be awarding monies for this year. Looks like RFPs will go out in April, I believe, so I will bring that back to the group just so if you know anybody that provides services to homeless and maybe be the food bank or somebody like that might be eligible, so I will bring that forward when it gets done. And this year we got about 300,000 to award, even though we really have 2 million, but last year we did 2-year awards just because organizations it's hard to do 1 year at a time, so we made 2-year awards, so most of that money's already allocated for this year. So we have $300,000 that we'll be doing some new projects basically for this next year. So I'll bring that to you when we get more details on what the requirements are and all that kind of stuff.
Solid Waste Advisory Board.
I missed that one last time, so I haven't seen the report from that meeting. I think the big issue was we're doing this new contract for operating the dumps, basically. but I haven't seen what they talked about yet.
TCOM, no report. Tenino School Board,
Joe said it.
he did. TRPC,
TRPC, there's something coming up that I think could impact us. They're doing a call for projects for this year. There is some set aside this year for small cities. It sounds like one of the things, I know sidewalks has been a big issue. I think one of the funds, if I understood right, we may be able to apply for some sidewalk improvements. I know you mentioned it too. So I'll have to, these things are so complicated, all these different funds and what they can be used for and
Right.
matching amounts.
and if they're federal, or
Yeah.
defederal.
So I was gonna talk to Paul Brewster, who's the guy that heads it up, and try to nail down, okay, what are we eligible for, you know, and how much is, so I have a little bit better detail, cause in those meetings, it's just too hard
Yeah.
to be specific about every situation, so I'll make a call with him and try to get some more detail on exactly what we'd be eligible for. But there are set asides this year for small cities.
Alright. Steady,
Friday.
TPB.
This is the possible explanation of what Dave was talking about. As you know, I've been on that board since 1996, 95, 96, whatever, long time. And every now and then I get a chance to jump up and down and throw my soapbox around. And that's why we now are able to get CDBG money. Because years ago, I got up on that soapbox and they were afraid of the wording that I used, and I did it specifically to catch their attention and make them do something. And I said, we need to launder that money, because a lot of the money that comes through Transportation Policy Board and TRPC is federal monies. It is easy to get federal monies, it is extremely difficult to spend them. So the set aside that Dave was talking about, I'm not sure if it's the same one. We have $604,300 that's set aside. The problem is that it started, and what got me on my soapbox again, was great, fantastic, 13.5% match. Do the math. Nobody, the three jurisdictions that are down here, we can't afford to come up with that kind of match. So, where it looks like we're going to be able to go through the same process that we did with CDBG money, launder it through the county, so that $600,000 will be able to be used down here. Finally, real road money. They're still working on it. One of the major things that we're not going to be able to do, because it's a secondary pot of money, is when they have a call for projects, that particular group we cannot apply for, which is fine, because we can never apply for it anyway, because we didn't qualify for any of it. So that's an easy one. The rest of it's going to be how much money the county gets off the top because of administration costs and that stuff. You know how that all goes.
You gotta let there be.
Yeah, they gotta let the beak. Yeah, they wouldn't like that terminology either. But after 20-some odd years, we're finally able to get some real money out of TRPC so that we can really do some stuff down here.
Troy sent off his kind of
His
list
wish
of
list, yeah.
priorities.
Yeah, I already talked to Paul Brewster about it. He's been down here. And I think Troy is correct in what he sent. The Pool 99, the mile that belongs to us, it needs to be fixed. It's in bad shape. I don't care who you are. When you drive on that thing, it's getting worse all the time because we haven't the money to fix it. I'm not sure even if we got all of that $604 million, that would take care of that.
604 million would take care of a
Yeah,
lot of roads.
604,000
Take care of the town.
would take care of it, but it might be enough to at least scrape it all down and put chip seal over or something to.
But we also have to share that 600,000 with the other jurisdictions.
Yeah,
There's if I recall right from our meeting, there's two pots of money, from what I understood. They're each like 302,000. One was for traditional partners, which would be like us, we're part of TRPC. If I recall the conversation right, the other 300,000 was non-traditional partners, so like fire districts could apply for it, school districts could apply for it. So it was people that aren't really part of TRPC but are part of the transportation system. So it's something to think about. That, I'm pretty sure that's the case.
No, this
So-
one's a third pot.
Oh, is this a different one? Okay.
Yeah, this is
This
out of a
the one
different
we're talking
fund.
about. Okay.
And it is strictly federal funds. And we got into it, and this is getting into the weeds a little bit, but, one of the things about federal funds which makes it really bad to take federal funds is, let's say we've got 2/3 of the money that we need for a project. We take federal funds, it's all federalized and everything just goes out the window. We no longer are doing it ourselves. It's just a big nightmare. So that's why I'm really excited after all these years that $604,300 has been set aside from that.
And defederalized.
And defederalized, so that when we have these projects and we
That's a
say
fancy
we
law
can do
term
it
for
for
law.
this, yeah, we'll actually be able to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what they want to see also.
We
Is,
need to do that before they call for a project, so that when we call for a project, we
We
can
have
base,
it.
base the request on a
So that
pre-existing.
it's on
That needs to be
Now,
done
what-
right away then.
Well, we just passed it, not too long ago.
we haven't done a 6-year street plan in a while. In any way,
I thought
in
we
any
talked about
event,
it.
what we need to
But it needs to be
do,
amended, John says.
what we need to do is be real careful about which funds we're seeking. Because if it's this group of money that I just talked about, and we go out for the first round, we're not gonna get the second round. Okay, so that first round is is like money for Lacey Olympian Tumwater, because they can afford the matches and they can afford to have everything tied up with the federal funds and all that stuff where we can't. So when the second round comes out, that's the one that we can do a call for projects, and Paul Bruce is gonna let us know when
Okay.
that one happens. So we finally have somebody that's actually looking at Scott County, and if everything goes out nicely, we can start fixing our roads.
That would be nice.
Yes, it would.
real quick on another note, this is TRPC. They're doing their 25-year regional transportation plan, and they're doing surveys. They're doing surveys, so they'd appreciate anybody that would take that survey. I'll have a couple extras up here if you're interested.
It's on our website.
It's on the website.
Just a little extra on this, what we're really looking for, I don't know if your side brought it up, is more from younger people like these guys here, because
He's 40.
Yeah,
He's got glasses.
that's, we're looking at 2045, I'm not gonna be here, okay? So
I
what,
don't know how you.
Linda's Linda will be sitting right here.
you know,
All right.
I was part of the 2020 plan. What I did, because we are looking for younger input, is I went to the schools and talked to the principal over there to see if he can get some of the kids to, especially at least their leadership class to take this. Brought it over to the library and a few other places around that hopefully we can get some younger participation.
That brings us to public comment period number 2. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to provide public comment, please come forward and do so at this time. Young lady?
No.
All right, that brings us to announcements. Any announcements? That brings us to, I know, I was waiting. You like to do it right as I move on. That brings us to adjournment.
Non-debatable motion.
Ha-ha. I didn't jump.
This stuff, or I don't think I really.
Would be coffee.
What time?
2 out of 4 foundations.
Central School.
Yeah,
Yeah, dinner like the
we got the rest of them.
Oh.
That was me, got a little man.
Oh.
Right over your head.
We can do them.
Wow.
Comments on it. Sending
I
him-
haven't looked at it yet, so I don't know what that questions are. That weird guy would stick around. I have no idea.
You're so late, I forget.
Seems like I've seen it, but I don't know where.
And they got all the other stuff on it, and then I checked it.
Might have
They're-
I've never met him before.
So it's a lot
I have no
easier.
idea.
It's a little bit of a shocker.
No, the only thing that I can think of
Why would you try to
is
plan stuff?
Sorry.
out at his house he lives out Thompson Creek, right? And like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he thought he found a body out in the woods. Or some people thought they had found a body out in the woods.
And I heard that, and so I told that podcast guy that there was a body found out in the woods there. And I know that he got up in arms about that. Yeah.
Drinks.
Because he was trying to hide it?
Oh,
I don't know. No, because
Did you just hide it?
he didn't want anybody knowing, and people coming out there looking, and James went out there and started traipsing
high school
around.
Saturday.
And then that, I think that guy
I
got
feel
him.
really sorry for his
Oh,
wife.
man, I love wrestling.
I like
Yeah,
it.
it was,
It's-
they,
Remember Betsy
Three
Welling?
men.
Betsy, she's the
They-
Betsy
Miss
Welling.
Welling?
Yeah, and one
Yeah,
of
that's
the,
what she's like.
That's
the fruit of our Spanish
tournament they hosted in,
Yeah,
at
she was our
least 20
Spanish
years.
teacher, now she's the.
They've never had one
teacher.
while I've been here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did kindergarten. for
Yeah,
some
that,
time. She was
somebody
on
said
it.
they
Yeah,
had
she
Yeah,
some
she sings as music
over
teacher,
the,
she loves it.
grade school, middle school, yeah.
Yes.
But, that was before
night,
I
everybody.
started, before. So, yeah,
I miss
I had a kid win the Marty kid won the